All right, we're going to do one more round here, and I want you to bring up. We'll start with you again, Garrison. Why don't you provide us a team that maybe some others haven't heard of too much? I mean, it is IRI, a lot of great teams, right? But what's a team that would not typically be seen as a top tier team, but could really go for a deep run in championships? Give us your dark horses.
Okay, I've actually got two here.
Okay,
and it's IRI, so I guess neither one of them are really dark horses. And one of them has actually been mentioned, not tonight, but it's been mentioned on a bunch of the Chief Delphi threads, and that's 4587 Jersey Voltage. And they've been very, very good basically since they started. I think this is they're a top tier Texas team as far as I'm concerned, and I've been down here for a little while, basically since they started, and kind of watched them grow. And this is their best season. And they did not do this year what they did last year, which is try and rebuild their robot for IRI. That, if y'all remember, that was a sort of a disaster for them. They did not get the results that they wanted. They came out of IRI sort of disappointed with their outcome. But this year, they are coming in with one of the top robots. Did really well at TRI a couple weeks ago. I see them performing, up to their specifications. And then the other one I wanted to mention is 3538, the Robo Jackets. This is very similar, kind of parallel to Jersey Voltage in my mind, just the Michigan version. The robots are not similar at all.
So I was going to say they don't look anything alike.
No, I'm sorry. I'm talking like team story. Yeah. Like these teams have sort of been in the shadow of a lot of top tier teams for a long time. People won't really pay attention to them because they're a little younger. They don't have that recognizable number. Not always the flashiest robots. I mean, Robo Jackets this year have the most bizarre robot of a top tier team. It's probably the weirdest robot at IRI. They got that side score that's extremely effective, and they won a few events this year. So those would be my two dark horses. Curious to hear what y'all have to say about them, but
I thought Jersey Voltage looked great at TRI. I mean, they were in quals, especially. They were in my opinion, the best scoring robot in quals, and just looked very, very, very good. Obviously, pairing up with 148 and taking the competition. But yeah, I mean, Jersey Voltage, I think, has a lot to prove coming to IRI. You know, TRI is a great event and is a competitive event, but IRI, I think, is still a tier above that. So a lot to prove to come in. And I really think they could be. I think they could be an Alliance captain, possibly, and we'll see where they go from there. I think they have a chance to seed high as well.
Yeah,
all right.
Sure.
Let's move on then. Christine, give us your dark horse pick.
Yeah,
or Garrison, I'm sorry. Did you have one more?
No, it was both of them.
Oh, I'm sorry. My apologies. So, Christine, go ahead.
Okay. So my dark horse is going to be another New England team. It would be 133. So they had 2 district event wins this year, and I believe they were semifinalists at the New England District Championships. But they are incredibly consistent, and what makes them a great alliance partner, I think that they would be they'd be picked up probably, round 2 in the alliance selection, maybe, mid to like lower end, but they have a great sidebar like buddy climb. So, while somebody is dropping their ramps or whatever, they can go ahead on the side last second and winch up, and they make a great addition to an alliance. And my other pick would be 67. It was awesome watching them at Champs this year, and my favorite quote from Mike Schreiber was, quote, "God damn, I love that ramp." He was like, it was probably the smartest design decision we've ever made, was that stupid ramp. So I'm excited to see them play some more. I know that they had a pretty intense end to their division. I didn't get to actually see all of it, but I'm excited to see them. And I think 133 coming all the way from pretty far up in Maine is going to do pretty well at IRI. So those are my 2 picks.
Yeah, 133 this season was awesome. Talking to them, and they're a team, they're going to play any type of game if they do get picked that late, which I'm not convinced they're actually going to go that late. I could see them as a first round pick, but they're going to play the switch. They've got a great 3-cube switch auto that they can do. They can play all over the field.
Yeah, I don't think that they went to Detroit to save some money, or I don't know why, but I think that because of that, they may be a little overlooked, but I think that they'll come in ready to play. I know that they've gone to some off-season events. I know that they have a second robot in a small, shared practice space up in Maine. So I think that they'll show up and they'll be excited and treat it basically like the championship event that they didn't end up going to this year.
They did go to Champs.
They did?
Yeah.
Wait, they did?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought they were on Carson. Duh.
Yeah, they were ranked 14th, 75. But yeah, no,
Sorry.
something about 133 is, as somebody who spent a decent amount of money to buy them in a draft yesterday, it's the consistent switch auto along with just their versatility, and personally, they're lovely people to work with. So we were one boulder away from going to Einstein with them in 2016. But they're just great people to work with. So I'm hoping I think they'll bring their A game, and I could see if they can end up as like the third robot on number 1 or number 2, like that's a scary alliance. Doesn't matter who 1 and 2 are. If they end up there, like 133 is the perfect robot there.
Yeah, I feel like we could see like them on the first seed alliance, like 2056, and them and some other really good robot, just killing it there.
2056, 195, 133.
Yeah, that's it. That wins IRI.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is, remember the draft order is different. I know we talked about it a little bit earlier. It is 1 through 8, 1 through 8. So that's totally possible. I mean, to be a team like that, to be the, I guess, like 16th or no, 8th, 9th pick.
Yeah.
That's
counting is hard.
Man, I'm tired. I can't do math anymore.
I just completely forgot that they were on Carson this year. So don't worry.
There you go. Audrey, let's move on to you.
All right. So I actually chose 133, but
oh, sorry.
No, it's fine. Let's just another.
Christine, you're just taking all of Audrey's picks ahead of time, by the way.
I'm the worst.
If you can even call this team a dark horse, I'd like to highlight 319. This team was championing big, really good placement before it was cool, going into their season with a robot that was slow, smooth, and fast. This district championship winner would be difficult to call a dark horse anywhere but IRI. So for stats, 2 cube close, 1 cube fart, which actually wasn't spectacularly consistent at champs, but they've had like a month or 2 to practice and perfect that, and I bet they've got that down. They've got probably even more at this point. For most IRI teams, I wouldn't really count their champs on being final thing here, because really it can be improved, and these teams are improving. 319 also has an incredible back forklift climber. They actually only missed 1 climb. Their 13 matches at champs. That kind of consistency is just like incredible for an FRC robot. You talked about 133 being consistent. 319 also super consistent, super amazing. We'll definitely be seeing some of those face the boss ranking points out of this machine. Teleop, just incredible. They coined the mantra slow is smooth and smooth is fast before their week 1 finalist debut. And they kept it up during their season. They understand the game at its core, and they certainly show it with their smooth play style. That also plays into the game beyond the scale, where they're scoring for the whole match. They average about 8.2 cubes overall, but also sometimes 7 or 8 on the switches. So we'll see where they end up. Looking at the bracket challenge, most people have them as like a mid-round first pick or like a captain of the low seed, and I think we could see them just putting together an amazing alliance from there.
Yeah, 319 is a team that definitely a big breakout year for them, right? And looking, really, really good this year. And Ty Tribble is going to be, coaching on that team, and definitely a great individual that is, I think, going to take them far. My only concern with 319 is with the 1 through 8, man, they better hope they're either a high alliance captain or the 9th or 10th pick, because I think they kind of fall into that 6 to 8 range where they stand right now. So if they do get their auto improved, like somebody in chat is saying, I agree with you. I think they have a shot to seed very high, but that's got to be fixed if they want to fit into a top seed.
Yeah, and one more point on them. When I talked to them at district championships, I mean, they're living for this. Like you said, it's a breakout year for them.
Absolutely.
And like a quote, I think it was their driver that was talking to me, and he's like, "Look, we've never been this good before.
Yeah,
we know it. Like we're taking advantage of this while we have this robot, because we might not have as good a robot next year." And I love that they're very much aware of where they are in the moment, and know they have a chance to go in and actually like take IRI this year, which is pretty cool to think about, especially where they were like 2-3 years ago.
Yeah, last year in this district champs.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I remember their lead mentor is one of the nicest people that I've met in New England that isn't the same age as me. Seeing them win their first banner, I think it was last year. They won their like first banner ever as a team, and like they totally soaked it in, and they're chairman's contenders now. They took home an EI at Reading District and won the event. So I think that they're just going to keep running with it. They've had a fantastic season, and I mean, it's definitely a comeback season for them. I mean, like you guys just said, they didn't even make district champs last year, so they're really running with it, and I think they're going to do really well. And what's interesting for me to watch as like a kind of off the field thing is, 319 won district champs with 195, and I'm pretty sure, I think that they were together at Battle Cry. So it'll be interesting to see if those, like in district alliances will stay, or if, people are just going to kind of look beyond that and not expect to be paired with teams that they've been paired with before. Like, I don't know if that's something that's common, like outside of Michigan, but I know in New England, like people that have played together, they kind of expect that to be carried outside of district as well. So I'm not saying that's true of, 195 or 319 or 133, but it's something that I've noticed in New England that teams that have played together in district often will stick with that when they're somewhere else. So
the friend pick is real at IRI. Like
yeah.
When you look at it, like there's a lot of Ontario teams pick Ontario teams, Michigan teams pick Michigan teams, New England teams pick New England teams. Like it's very common at IRI. So I could definitely see something like that happening.
Yeah, but you also have like 118, 195, 2056. Like that cluster is gonna really determine.
I don't know if the first pick is a friend thing. Maybe for the third or fourth robot.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know about the first one and the first like 5.
If you have two robots of about equal standing, I mean, obviously, then you're gonna go with the one you've played with before.
Sure.
I guess that's more what I mean for the first pick. But yes, third and fourth, it's especially your fourth robot's almost always a friend pick when it comes down to it. Like,
yeah,
if you look at a lot of them,
it's like, are we best friends? Yes. All right.
Did we just become best friends?
Yeah.
All right, PJ, why don't you give us your dark horse pick for IRI?
Okay. So everybody else did 2. Apparently, I'm gonna do 2 real fast. My one's gonna be 5406, Celtex from Ontario. They're one of the best Ontario teams this year. Arguably, I would put them as the second best team in Ontario this year, behind 2056. Like, I think they were better than 1114. I think they were better than 1241. So calling them a dark horse is real. It hurts me, but but I put them as a dark horse because nobody knows who they are. Like, nobody's talking about them. You look at, like, not a lot of people are like, oh, this is one of the best robots in the world right now. Like, they're a top 5 robot at IRI. That the only reason they're a dark horse is because they weren't as good as 3357. They were almost my lock. Like, they're a dark horse that was almost my lock. And then my other one that's a bit darker is going to be 694 Stypulse out of NYC. They're the third best teleop robot going to IRI. They're crazy fast. They average between switch and they're very good at switching between switch and scale. Like, they average over 8 cubes a match in teleop combined. They are also a team that is bringing their competition season drivers. They have made some modifications to the elevator, which is what caused them problems and what cost them winning their division at Worlds when it comes down to it. They had some elevator issues that have been fixed. They've got the regular season drivers, same with 5406, actually. And so those two are both coming to IRI hungry and ready and sort of underappreciated for as good as they are.
694 is very good. Yeah, New York.
I love the 694 pick. The Celtex, I don't agree with you, actually. I don't think they are a top 5 team. I don't think they quite fit in the dark horse. I think they're going to be a late second round pick. That's where I have them.
Really?
I have them as like
so
no.
All right.
Yeah.
They have one of the better,
they have one of the best
ramps.
autos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
They're incredible.
We'll see.
Their placement's great. Yeah.
I'd put money down. They're probably gonna be in top 8. Like,
yeah.
Tyler, I bet you right now, like, there's, I don't see them falling down. And if they're not in the top 8, they're gonna be early.
So if you look at champs, they're out in the semis. And do you blame that then on 2481, which is a lock pick to you, Garrison?
I fully blame it on 2481, but that's me.
I
will say, yes, I think it was more 2481's fault than it was Celtex. I honestly do think that Celtex was a better robot than 2481, which I know I had them as my lock. mostly because of Otto. I think Celtics is actually the better team. Definitely in Teleop they are. And I think they're the more composed team.
Yeah, and I think if Celtics gets better scouting data, then they're going to, and I'm pretty sure they will.
I've done all of Celtics' pre-scouting, so that's where I got all these numbers.
I know.
I was saying, you know where they're getting their data from.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna round it up here. My team for a dark horse is a secret, and that's the Secret City Wildbots.
Oh.
I know I had to go with a pun, but it was kind of gross.
Did you have fun doing that, Tyler?
Yes.
You feel good about yourself?
No, not really. I want to take it back. So 4265 Secret City Wildbots, a team that they didn't even make the eliminations in their first regional at the Palmetto Regional, and they kind of win a regional that not too many people know about at the Smoky Mountains Regional. But here's a team that is getting 2 cube consistently auto. They actually, I think, scored a 3 cube in a couple of their matches as well, and a team that honestly nobody knows about at all. I mean, they played with my old team 2826 in the 2015 championship. I played one match as a backup robot sort of thing as finalists, and that's a team that this year has really been their breakout year for their actual robot. They made it to the semifinals, I believe, of the Carver division, and as a robot that, like I said, nobody knows about. I think they're going to fall. Apparently, based on what I said, I think they'll fall where Celtics did as well, too, as a late second round pick. But I think whoever does pick them up, I think has a great opportunity to get a robot that people haven't noticed, but will still prove them high dividends in the rounds as well.
4265 is also just a really fun robot to watch. It's a really odd design. They have like one of those kind of like flippy inside around gatherer type things. And I do agree that they're another one that is the same, because they're averaging about 6.5 cubes in Teleop a match. And they're another one that's they're getting 3.5 of those on the scale and about 3 1/3 on the Switch. So, they're definitely one that's nobody's talking about, but have actually some numbers to back up what you're saying.